I've given my testimony a few times, bits and pieces of it. I've never given my full one since I think we were in the Broken Yoke. Yay! And that's fine. You can leave right there. And so I was asked to give it again, and I enjoy it. I actually enjoy it. As horrible as it's going to sound to you guys, I enjoy it. Because I believe that the Bible is 100% factual. I believe it is the inerrant Word of God. That everything in that book, everything in all 66 books, is meant for correction, for reproof, and for growth. And it has been the most fundamental difference in my life. For those of you that know me, you usually see me in shorts, probably a tank top, and I'm running around. I'm very loud and energetic and constantly cracking jokes and laughing and just acting like I'm 14 when I'm 44. This is because I am a new creature. The old man who I used to go by a certain name, which I don't even say that name anymore because that guy's dead. He's no longer here. He was crucified on the middle cross with my Savior, my King. And so I don't even bring up his name because he's dead and he has nothing in my life anymore. But so I was born. Me and my brother were both born. It's weird. And I want you. I'm gonna digress a little bit. As I'm speaking about my past, I want you to just make marks because the enemy has tried to take me out. This is how I know God is real. And this is hindsight. This is down the road. I didn't come to this realization until I was around 40. But if you just mark it, how many times he's tried to take me out, you'll realize that God has always had a plan, and the enemy has always realized that plan, and he has tried to stop me at every single corner. So, I was born with congenital adrenal hyperplasia, me and my brother. In order to it's called crib death. Back in the 70s, kids were just dying. They were bringing them home. They would stop breathing and they would die. It's called crib death. It was huge. Most of you guys probably remember this. It's called congenital adrenal hyperplasia. My brother had it. I had it. The way you get it is it's a 1 in a million chance. You have to have two people that carry it come together in a perfect storm and have kids, and then they would have it. And literally, it's like I think it's like 750,000 or like 1.2 million. It's right up in that range. And the odds of you meeting somebody and then getting it and having it. My brother has it. It's active in him, which means my older brother literally stopped breathing when he got brought home for 15 minutes. He's in the Kaiser record books as the baby that went the first child to go the longest with basically SIDS and live. Now he's mentally not there anymore, but he's high functioning. Like he's there. It's hard to have conversations with him. But this isn't his story. This is Jesus' story. So he had it. I carry it. Right out of the gate, they started pumping me with stuff, thinking I had it. So they were giving me all these steroids, all these medications, constantly in the hospital, constantly getting jabbed. To this day, I still hate the hospital because of this. They realized I don't have it, I only carry it. So, just me and my brother. That was it. My dad left us after finding out my brother was this way, and he didn't want any part with it. And he dealt with it for a long time in that relationship, and then my mom had me, and he chucked her to deuces, and he says, I'm out. I'm not dealing with two of them like this. And he never came back until I was about 13. He called me. I remember it like it was yesterday. My mom called me into the room. She said, hey, your dad's on the phone. First time I heard that word come out of her mouth talking to me. And so I looked over at my stepdad, and then I looked back at her, and I was like, she's like, your biological sperm donor is what she called him, your sperm donor. And I was like, okay. And so I grabbed the phone, I'm like, hello? Hey, boy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, my exact words, why are you calling me? And in my heart, I was thinking, looking at the man who's been abusing me, looking at the woman who gave all these other men before him permission to abuse me, and even helped at points. And then you giving me a phone with some dude that says he's my father? Really? What a smack in the face. Don't call me again. I don't want nothing to do with you. You've been gone for 13 years, blah, 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 whatever, bye. Fast forward a little bit more. I guess whatever conversation my stepdad and my mom had, she made me see him. And I fought it. I didn't want anything to do with him. He didn't want anything to do with me. Why would I want anything to do with him? So I ended up seeing him or whatever. And come to find out that he had spent an exorbitant amount of money in courts or whatever. He actually went broke trying to fight for us. That wasn't the story I was taught. I was taught he hated me, that he wanted nothing to do with me, that he was an alcoholic, that he was just a depraved human being. And so I was like, okay, well, that's par for my story. Growing up, my mom went, she did things. We all do. Men were able to come in my life and just wreck me. I was sex trafficked from a young age. From when I can remember until, I don't know, I was probably 7 or 8. It scarred me. It's a memory that's still very like it was yesterday, right here in my mind, of all the back of the Peterbilts and what have you. I remember them vividly. Nobody came to save me. Nobody came to rescue me. One after another, trucker after trucker, no one helped me. After that, she got married to another guy who she's still married to. And he wanted to be dad, but I was a wild child. I didn't want a father. I didn't want anything. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I was diagnosed with ADHD at a very young age, which put me on, and back then they put you on Ritalin, which is speed. It's pseudoephedrine hydrochloride. I used to make speed. I know exactly what it is. And they would give that to you. And what it would do, the same reason I give my son coffee, is because you're already so far up here with my body is so wired that I'm already up here. So what happens if I drink coffee or energy drink? Bam! I hit the roof and it levels me back down. I crash. And then I'm normal like you guys. Like, I can be up here just like this. I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, which is why I'm like this. A lot of you are looking at me like, yeah, usually you are like, what's going on, guys? Like, hey, what's going on?
I'm not normal.
And neither am I. And so anyway, I was diagnosed with that. And during this whole process, no one paid attention to me. So I was like, okay, you want me to take these pills? Cool. Whole bottle. Bam. I'm going to go see this Jesus guy that everybody talks about, this God who loves me, this Father in heaven, right? Took the whole bottle. I'm done with it. I don't want this life anymore. I'm getting beat all the time. I'm getting molested. My teachers hate me. My parents hate me. My siblings don't even care about me. There's nothing for me. Like, I've been in and out of juvie. We're, shoplifting, breaking into mailboxes. This kid tried to snitch on me, so I tied him up and left him in a field one day. I did a lot of stuff before I even hit 13. And so when I hit 13 and I had the option to take myself out, I took it. I took it because it was the option that I had to get rid of the pain. No one told me about hell. Nobody ever told me about heaven either, except that there's a magical God up there, right, that loves me, some Father. And so I took the whole thing. I wanted to meet him. That was my plan. And I remember it vividly because when I woke up in the hospital and my mom was fake crying in the corner and my grandma and my aunt were there, and the doctor said, "Oh, you made it." And I said, "Why?" Like, I can't even do that right, man. This sucks. I can't even kill myself. I can't even do that right. And so they pulled me out of my house and they made me go stay with some cousins. And that's what changed my life. Literally. I was out of the environment that was causing the toxicity in my life. Little did I know from the age of 13 to 17 that I was the toxicity in my life because it followed me. I still wanted to be my own man. I still wanted to do what I wanted to do. So I got involved with my cousins. I'm half Mexican. For the first 8 years of my life, I thought my name was Weddle. I never knew my name was Jason. I was Weddle, right? It's because my mom would dump me with my cousins, who she's Mexican. So she dumped me with them, and that's who I was raised by. Like, I grew up tough, I grew up hard, and I grew up mean because I had to. I was the only white boy in my entire family. My brother got all the attention. He was always on medication. He was constantly with my mom, constantly with the good people in my family, the people who could take care of him. Where me, I was thrown to the side. And so it was a perfect storm. The enemy knew what he was doing. Fast forward a little bit, and I go into the service. I think that's gonna level me out. And the Navy did a good job. The Navy really did a good job. I remember more time in trouble than I do in any kind of training or any kind of anything. And eventually they kicked me out, and they gave me a general less than honorable discharge because they finally found out that I had ADHD. And back then they didn't know a lot about it, and they just knew this guy was going to be a huge troublemaker. Like, this guy cannot sit still, he cannot focus, and he doesn't care about anything. He is a huge liability. We need to get rid of him. And so they did. And at that point, I was 20-ish, and I was 20. And I didn't want anything to do with life. I didn't want anything to do with anybody. I just wanted to go do my own thing. And that's exactly what I did. Became a massive meth head. I was a cryptologist in the Navy. So computers were just coming out for your house, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows Millennium. And I knew how to work on all of them. So I made $75 an hour back in like 99, 98, and which was a lot of money to be making for somebody that was so young as me. And I used it on a lot of drugs and on a lot of women and a lot of dumb stuff. And all this while, I didn't have a care for anything above, much less anything below. But little did I know, the entire time, the Father below was literally orchestrating everything. And my Father in heaven was fighting a war that I had no idea he was fighting for me. And how am I doing on time? And, oh, perfect. And so what ended up happening was I got married, and I said I would never get married. I got married to a woman and ended up getting her pregnant. I didn't even think I could get pregnant. I was told I couldn't get anybody pregnant because I did so many damn drugs that I couldn't get. I was sterile, like literally from the doctor. And she ended up having three miscarriages. And then ISIS came. My beautiful, amazing daughter, my firstborn, she came. And she changed my life forever. Because I never knew what love was until that girl was born. I didn't know. I thought I loved her mom. I had no idea what love was. When that girl cried, when she got hurt, when somebody hurt her, something primal came out. I changed. I could feel it. Like I wanted to come in and just wreck whatever hurt her or hurt her feelings or anything. I taught her how to fight at a very early age so she could protect herself when she didn't have dad around her. I was totally into this. I totally destroyed my first marriage because I was just completely on my own page. But my daughter was my number one priority. And fast forward 7 years, it took me in that marriage to figure out that not only did she cheat on me a few times, and I still tried to stay there because I didn't want to be my dad. I didn't want to be like the men in my life, just walking out. No, I'm going to fight. That's her problem. She wants to cheat on me, whatever. I'm not going to do it because I don't want my daughter to know. I want her to know that she was worthy of having a solid dad. She was worthy of it. because I wasn't worthy of it to have a solid dad. And so I got scared because I met another woman who I'm married to now, and that woman scared me to death because I knew I loved her. Because I found out what love was from the first girl, from my daughter, and I knew I loved her. And there was something going on inside of me, and I was scared. So what do we do when we're scared? Puff up that chest, and we just keep walking forward. And we don't talk. And we don't talk for a reason. We don't talk because we're afraid that our voice might crack, it might betray us. So we stop talking, and our fists get hard, and we puff up our chest, and we just keep walking forward. And that's exactly what I did. Not knowing that that's not what a wife needs. That's not what a woman needs. And for the first couple years, it was a hard struggle. Logan came. Yeah. And Logan. I'm going to tell you right now, for any of you who have sons, a girl will change, a daughter will change your life. A boy will set you on an entire different path. Because here's the thing, guys. I don't know if you've thought about this or not. The reason why raising a young man is scary is because deep down inside, you know you're training your replacement. You know it. I know it. And I'm not a very smart man. And I know it. I needed him to be better than me. I wanted him to have a father that he knew beyond any shadow of any doubt that he could be Dad, and I'm going to be right there. Every time, without a doubt, without anything, I knew he needed that because I needed that. And I was 33 at the time or something. I knew I needed that. I was 33 at the time. I remember because I was like, Jesus got crucified at the same time I got saved. And so so my sister came, and she took him. She's like, hey, I want to take your my niece and my nephew to Awana. And I was like, you want to what? No. It's called Awana. You want to what? It's an acronym. Approved workmen are not ashamed. It's called Awana. It's basically like Boy Scouts for children. But they teach them, have them memorize verses, and they get badges and rewards and all sorts of stuff. They have a little bear for cubbies and like all sorts of stuff. And they came back with a joy that I have never given them. A joy, a sense of peace, a laughter. It radiated like this heat from this lamp. It radiated off of them. And like a moth to a flame, I was like, what is this? What's going on? And they told me about what they learned. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Now, mind you, I hate it. I didn't want to go into this part because I don't got a lot of time. It'll be another time. And I've already said this a few times. But I used to be a Satanist. I hated God so much that I actually sought out for 3 years, and I got it, the Lorum Lacanorum. I was a Satanist. On the highest levels, I was a Satanist. And my whole thing in life was to destroy God, like I could, right? And when he came along and I saw the joy in my daughter and my son's face from a God who I despised more than anything, I wanted to go see what was going on. Because they were probably holding snakes or rolling on the floor or talking in weird tongues or doing something weird to get some kind of voodoo to get my kids like that, right? So I showed up. Whoo, was I not ready for that one? Okay, this was a fundamental Baptist church in the middle of Paris, California. I mean fundamental. Suits, ties, women down to their dresses, no cleavage anywhere, no gaudy makeup, nothing. I mean full fundamental church. And when I walked in there, he was talking and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, whatever. And then they kept going. And so I kept going. And I remember it because it was in November around Thanksgiving. And we're listening to the sermon, right? And I'm like, all right, now he's just talking about me. You know, that old thing. And I'm like, okay, now he's just talking about me, whatever. He's not going to ever let me, I'm never going to go forward. This is stupid. Like, why would I go forward and give myself to an invisible God who doesn't even respect me enough as a man, much less his child, to introduce himself to me? Like, I'm not doing all this. Like, I'm not going to bow down. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm a man. And I know enough of the background information because I've read all the books. I've studied Catholicism and Mormon and the Mormon cults and Jehovah Witness and I looked into all of these different things and the Pentecostals and I was like, these Baptists, man, they're just hardcore, man. It's God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Bible. I don't know if I can do all this. And I was like, I don't know, God, you got to show me something else. But I respect you as a man because you're doing it. And I respect you because you're showing up every single week and you're giving it your all. I respect you for that, bro. I do that too. I got a job. and I walked away. And I remember vividly, I was driving to work with my 6-pack of Mickey grenades. And the radio came on. And I was switching channels. And it went in 107.9. And it was John Corson. I didn't know his name at the time. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I wanted to go turn it. And I heard it clear as day. Clear as day. If you reject me, and what I have to tell you, I will also reject you before my Father and his angels in heaven. And it stopped me like fear, like I have never had in my entire life. Cold sweat, fear. And I pulled my hand back. And John Corson started. And he started talking about these sin issues you have and why people don't come to Christ and why we don't give up and why we don't submit and all these other things and why we have issues and why we have all these problems in our lives. And he's like, we all have these besetting sins, We can get rid of our sins. We could try, battle them and do whatever. He's like, but we all have that one besetting sin. Just that one sin we don't want to let go of. That one we always make the excuse for. The one where you're like, well, God really hasn't done anything yet. And it's just that one thing. And I'm telling you now, and he's like, I'm telling you now, it's that one sin that's holding you back from walking through glory. And he's like, it's that one sin. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah. And he's like, and you know what it is? Because you're thinking about it right now. And I'm like sitting there with a Mickey in my hand, and I'm like, no. Nah, God, come on. Nah, and so I put it back in this little slot, and I'm driving, I'm like, and I turn it off. And for the first time, I said, God, I have sought you. I have fought you. I have rejected you. And I've done everything but talk to you. And have a real conversation with you. Man to man. So here I am. If you are real, what say you? Son, I want you to call your wife right now. And I want you to get rid of all the alcohol. I want you to tell her all the alcohol is hitting in the garage and in the house that you have stashed everywhere. I want you to tell her where it is. I want you to tell her to dump it out and throw away the bottles and take the trash out. If you do this, I will use you. I will use you mightily. If you don't, the first drop, we're done. I will never use you again. We will be together, but I'll never use you. I don't even know what happened that day. But I cried so deep. The pain was so intense. I didn't know I wanted God. I had no idea that I wanted Him, that I needed Him. But that pain, that when He said those words to me, the pain that I felt of even the thought of being separate, and I was already separated in my mind and in my heart. But the thought, after He said it, of being separated. Guys, hell is not the worst stop, and I'm telling you that from factual knowledge. Hell is not your end if you don't believe. Hell is not the final stop for you. It's outer darkness. There's a place worse than hell. It's so much worse than hell. It's called outer darkness.
Separation from God.
There is no more chances. See, when you're in hell, he can still hear you. But when you're separated, there is no more. So even in hell, there's hope. But when that last day comes, you're done. You will be separated, like he has shown in so many imageries in the Bible. He will separate the goats from the sheep, and you will be cast out in a place that was not designed for you, where you will be in the midst of fallen angels who hate your very existence, that you are a blight to the Holy of Holies, that you were created from dirt, and from dirt you should have returned. That's what they think of you. And that's who you will be spending the rest of your eternity with. Not in hell. You're not going to be having a party with your buddies. It's nothing like that. Hell is pretty bad. Hell is pretty bad. Even as a Satanist, we knew hell was pretty bad. But just like the people who voted for Biden because they hated Trump, you're going to get what you deserve. You will get it. You will get exactly what you deserve. And paid in full. You don't want him, you will have that. God is not a God to be mocked. I have learned that. I have gone through hell on earth. I have seen the face of evil. And nothing even holds a flicker of a light to what Jesus has for you in his glory. And he just gives it away. He's like I don't know if I've never had one, but I've heard about him. People who have rich relatives that just give stuff away. Oh, here, just take it or whatever. Just give it away. And they just give it, right? Like, I've never known anybody like that. I have counted every penny that has ever touched the palm of my hand. God has made sure of that. I ask him all the time, why can't I win the lottery, Lord? I play it all the time. Like, why can't I just catch a break, man? I swear I'll tithe it, man. I swear I would. Let me just pay off my debt. But it would destroy me. Oh, Lord, give me good health so I can just wake up in the morning and not in pain. It would destroy me. Lord, give me at least decent finances and a stable job so I don't have to struggle, Lord. It would destroy me. Well, Jason, how do you know that? Because I don't have it. Because God says, I would never hold back that which is good for you. And I'm going to end it with this as a proof of it. I am the best in my industry, and I could toot my horn to that. I am the best in my industry. I know stuff that people in my industry that have been in twice as long as me don't even understand or can't wrap their mind around. I've gone to people's houses, and they're like, oh, we don't know what's wrong. Oh, it's this. There you go. Bro, I had the same pool guy for like 20 years, and he couldn't figure that out. You did it in 5 seconds. Yeah. I was offered the dream job of a lifetime at Pechanga. Dream job. Dream job. Full benefits. Paid nothing out of pocket for my entire family. 3 to 4, I think it was like 4 weeks of vacation. Like all these things. Every holiday off, even the ones that are silly. I got them all off. Crazy job. This was 2019. I was a shoo-in. They said, your job is yours, bro. It's you. Not yours, bro. It's mine, actually. Not you, bro. They're like, it's yours. And I was, and so they're like, you have to fill out this application. Make sure you put every single thing on it. Even if you have a little misdemeanor, put it on there. Because if you don't, we don't run backgrounds. We're an Indian reservation. We do federal backgrounds. We do the whole all 50 states. We do a full background check on you. So I was like, oh crap. So I went literally to Santa Monica, to LA, to Riverside County. I went all over, San Diego, all over. I went. My record is that thick. I didn't even know this. I went and pulled it from all the different courthouses. It's that thick. that thick. And I gave it to them. And I said, there's everything. Nothing's crazy in there. I have a couple crazy things, but that was like when I was 19. I'm 44. Not a big deal. No, we can't use you, son. Sorry. And I was angry. There was nobody more qualified than me. They gave me the job. Why, God? I've been following you for 10 years. You knew this would make my family better. You knew this would be the first, I would be able to own a home for the first time. This would have been it. I would have had a car that's not over 15 years old. This would have been it. Why, Father? And I pouted, and I was angry with him, and I wanted to walk away. I did. And you know what happened after that? Pandemic. I didn't get that job because God knew there was a pandemic coming. You know what closed permanently for a while? Pachanga. You know what industry became an essential worker? Because mosquitoes carry viruses? Us, the pool industry. They gave me $10,000 to stay in business. Riverside gave me, Jason, $10,000 just to stay open and keep going to work. That's how I know my God is real. That's how I know He's sovereign over everything in my life. My children, my wife, my job, my very life. Everything He's sovereign over. So, 30 seconds. I had every reason to hate God. I was justified in it. I didn't need Him. I had plenty of money. I didn't need Him. My health was fine. I didn't need Him. I could have had 100 kids. And it wasn't until I put it down and I said, okay, show me. And when I say put it down, it was that besetting sin we were all thinking about it that few minutes ago, right? I put it down and I said, now tell me, who are you really? And that's when He came alive. Because I'm going to tell you something. It's never until you actually address something that it actually becomes real. You know? You have an eating disorder. You have something. It's not real to you until you address it. And then it becomes serious. And God said that a million years ago. Where your heart is, where your treasure is, there's your heart also. I just want to pray for you guys, and then I got to get going. Father in heaven, holy, holy, holy are you, Father God Almighty, who was, who is, and is to come. My great I am. I love you so much, Father. And I thank you so, so much for the men in this tent right now and the ones that couldn't make it. Oh, how I thank you for these great, mighty men of valor, Lord, that come every week, Lord, and share. They let me know that I can have an open heart, that I don't got to be hard. I don't got to be a tough guy. I don't got to be anything more than Jason. So Jesus, I thank you for them. I pray that you would bless them. I pray that you would give them the faith that I know when their faith becomes too weak. May you give them eyes to see, ears to hear, and a mouth to speak the truth of your wonder and your grace. Father, I pray for salvation for their wives, for their children. I pray that they would come to just know, have an intimate relationship with you, Jesus. That they would know that the blood was meant for them, not just for others. That you took those 39 lashes for them, not for somebody else. Oh, Father, how often am I the Barabbas on stage with Pilate and Jesus? And they let me go, while you have to stay and take the punishment that I deserve for being a murderer, for being a rebel, for being an infidel. Oh, Jesus, you're so beautiful. And so I just thank you, Lord, for never giving up, for coming after me, the 100th sheep, when you didn't need to, when you already fulfilled in your entirety with the Father and the Spirit. You still said heaven wasn't enough without me. And how glorious are you, God, that you would give us children now to pour into, to fix the mistakes of our fathers, of our mothers, that we can now pour into them and start new to be a creator as you are, Father, to give us that gift to reproduce, to create life. Oh, Father, you're so amazing. So I just thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to my brothers, the opportunity to reach out across the internet, Lord, and not be ashamed of my tears, for they're yours, for what you've done for me, Jesus. So thank you. Thank you in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you in the mighty name of Yahweh. May we be blessed. May our families be blessed. And may we go forth from here renewed, changed hearts, and wanting to have a conversation with you and wanting to lay down our lives as you did, Jesus. And we just love you and we thank you. In the powerful name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys.